This is something nobody's going to enjoy. Sony PlayStation, the company, has decided to start phasing out physical video game discs by January in 2028, which, I was hoping would be something that we would never actually run into in our world, but slowly as it's gradually been decreasing as far as like the popularity and the push for these kinds of games. And it seems like companies have been prioritizing like digital games so much more and like virtual game cards, virtual ownership, virtual titles that you can actually own just by a license on the internet, but you don't actually physically own anything and it's just a license to play. I mean, we all should have seen it coming a little bit. I've been worried about this, but it's true. It looks like Sony has said on Wednesday that they plan to end the production of new video game discs, which, has been a feature for a very long time in video games. Like CDs, music, movies, media of all kinds has been put on DVDs and discs that we were able to like physically actually own the copies to without any Wi-Fi and like walk over and put it into the device and it'll just run. But it looks like this decision has been laid out in a company blog post, which you guys can see here. Basically talking about there being a preference in broader entertainment industry that is continuing to shift away from the production of physical discs. I think that is crazy. They're basically saying that starting in January 2028, after that date, new games will be available on the PlayStation Store, and I guess they're gonna give out game cards or some kind of shit like they do fucking V-Bucks in Walmart and places where you can buy games to go and like scratch off a code and be able to play your game that way. I guess I don't know. I think it's kind of crazy. I feel like video game collectors and collecting as a whole is being destroyed. I mean, that's part of the fun, you know what I mean? And as somebody who I feel like I've struggled to be able to collect games, and I feel like now I'm regretting that. I'm regretting and wanting to start a physical game collection for myself. It looks like they're also going to prioritize resources to drive innovations and how players can access games and provide choices as to where players can purchase new games, whether it's retailers or the PlayStation Store. So all of their focus is going to go into trying to advertise this system and revamp it as the new, basically. This is a natural direction for Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt to consumer trends as general preferences for digital media significantly outspace physical discs. It says this transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of the community prefers to access and play games today, which, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel like this is true. I feel like with the things like Xbox Game Pass and the PlayStation collections and catalog system that they have with their shit, it's made it to where people may play games digitally a lot, but I don't think people prefer it digitally. I think that it's something that people have chose because the physical game market, like places like GameStop and shit, has died. I feel like it's become so little. The best way for me to go and get and work on a collection of physical games is to go to a pawn shop and try to get them that way and hope that I can find them, honestly. GameStop is still around, but not in my town. I have to drive out of the town to get it, but damn. This is kind of crazy that this is happening. Whoa, 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 whoa. In this article, they also talk about how overall consumer spending on video games in the US has ticked up by 1% in 2025 from prior years, which I mean, I feel like that's kind of minimalistic. 1%. Who the fuck cares about that? Prior years to hit $60.7 billion, according to the data from Entertainment Software Association, Circania and Sensor Tower. Subscription services revenue jumped up 20%, while mobile games now account for nearly half of the total at 26.7 billion in revenue. Mobile games. What? Like on your phone? They're saying that mobile games are half of the market when it comes to. I feel like people who mainly play mobile games are not actual gamers. I don't feel like that can be considered the same thing, honestly. I feel like that's kind of nuts. But I'm pretty disappointed to see that this is the case. I feel like it's really making me want to try to get physical games and try to have some sort of collection. I'd really love a PlayStation 2 as well. Like, and those things day after day are becoming more and more retro and more expensive trying to get them. So it says here as well that the change has no impact on titles due to come out prior to January 2028. So I guess those are still going to be physical, but after that, they're going to stop any games that are announced after 2028, January 1st. I guess they're going to start only going digital with these games. Very disappointing. Yeah, I just thought I wanted to give you guys the news on that because I came across this article and this story just talking about that, and I was pretty shocked. I mean, not really surprised, but just like, damn, that's happening. So let me know how you guys feel about that. Let me know if you guys care or not. Let me know if it's something that matters to you. Let me know if you think this is going to impact a lot of things because I feel like this is kind of a big deal. But I would love to hear you guys' opinions down in the comments. Let me know. Yeah, until the next video I make, don't forget to smile and be happy. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Don't be all doom and gloom about everything. But yeah, peace out.